Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Indices, and looking at the S&P on the weekly chart here. We are looking from wave 4 here to wave 5 here, and we're looking for 5 waves within that move there. So on the daily chart, just breaking it down from the weekly, we're looking at it as we've had this sharp drop here. We'll talk about that in a moment, but we're looking at wave 4 here to wave 5 over here. So we're looking for basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll talk about that to make wave 5 of 1 up here. And we've had a sharp move down from the old high, and yeah, the reason for that supposedly is the shrinking of the manufacturing figures. I heard there was a lot of activity in the bond market. Doesn't seem like it. I can see some on a jump there. So the bonds up, dollar up. So the dollar was expected to bounce off this area here. Now this area, I wouldn't worry about this too much. This is either an A and a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave here, and then we'll have an E wave over here, and then go down. Or we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then 5 to come down here. Now the yields will be the same on that. Let me just double check here. It's gold, 10-year yields here. Yeah, so we can look at that as wave 4 and 5 on the dollar as well. The yields, the bond yields will follow the dollar down. So not a lot of activity on that front. So we just want to talk about this. I'm just really looking about that for myself. So we've got this sharp move down here, and our trading strategy really was that we got the low in here. We waited to get confirmation on this level here with some impulse waves here and a classic trading levels pattern here to be long in here, to be mindful of this being at the old top here. Just normal common sense really, isn't it? We had wave 4s and 5s, and as I mentioned, things at tops don't always finish the way that we expect them to, and I was expecting it to move up a little bit higher, and we need to talk about this a little bit more. So let me just go into the intraday here and just talk about this a little bit more in here. So we'll just talk about a few things in here. First of all, if we look at this, we could count this up as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Now the Nasdaq counts a little bit different. We'll look at that in a moment. So we could also look at this here from wave 2 here to the top here roughly, and we can see that the 38.2% hasn't even been reached here on this market. So that means that if I draw a line here for this, it means that this wave 4 here could actually go here. So all of this could actually be a wave 4 here. And then we push up for a wave 5, and we have wave 5 up there. And that would be the right sort of look and feel of it, a simple wave 2 and a more complex wave 4 here. And when we look at this is the S&P 100 here, so we don't look at this very often. We can see that this is the high here. So I just want to talk about this a little bit here. So this is the high on this. So that's in line with the Nasdaq actually. Now the other thing here is that if we go to I'm just going to bring this in over here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. So we can go to the SPX here, the index, and we can see that this is a top here. So not this top, but this top. And then we can look at the futures market. If we look at the main contracts here, we can also see that the main contracts have got this as a top here. And then we've got the E-minis, of course, which wouldn't be far behind, but quite close to the previous top, but actually this is the top here. So with the S&P, there's a few different tops here. Now it's quite clear with the Nasdaq that this is the top. So there's a couple of things here. There's, first of all, is that wave 2 was simple here, so the guideline of alternation would make wave 4 complex, so it would be quite natural to think that we could have wave 4 here at this particular point in time with wave 5 to go up there. In fact, that would be the natural thing to do, you know, to bring this over to here and a B wave over to here and the A wave over to here and just double it in size and do those sort of things. Now, like I said, that would be the natural thing to do, and that may even be the right thing to do. However, what I need to do is I need to take into consideration, I mean, an index is to a point, deleting the futures market and option market is really just following the, the moving average of the stock market. So the stocks are very important to also include in on the wave count as well of the patterns, and that's what I normally do, as you may know. And when we look at some of the leading stocks, we can have a look at Apple here. We can see that Apple is coming off quite strong, so it does make a nice ABC for Apple here. We can have a look at Amazon. That's another one which we've also been looking at it as a possible A wave, a B wave and a C wave moving down here. Is it possible that we could call this a wave 4 here and drop this down to here? Yeah, that's sort of possible as well. But this seems to be, and Nvidia as well, which is even deeper. The bias is really looking back at this as 1 and 2 over here in the market, So that's the bias that we sort of need to track without going into too much detail on other stocks. You can just have a look at the stocks video for that. So it's sort of like the weight of the situation. I can see, like I said, I could see that we could put wave 5 up here. But the weight of the rest of what's going on in the markets, we would need to look at it like this here. If I can look at this on the intraday in a moment. If we look at the Nasdaq here, we can see that the Nasdaq's been folding over from here. So if I looked at this as a wave 4 over here, then it's really humongous compared to wave 2 over here, So then I could put this wave 4 in a couple of different places, so I'm not that concerned about it. But in one way or another, it needs to be sort of squashed up inside of that. This plays out quite nicely as an ABC for the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, this move that moves up here and then down again will be what we're looking at with the S&P here, a move that needs to move up and then down again. Our long trades will be seeing any impulse waves over here and a classic trading levels pattern back on the 5-5 over here. So like I said before, coming up here, the idea we've got tested support on top of, we had impulse waves here and here. To confirm, so even though we picked the low in, we didn't go long on the bottom here. I think we had a little scalp trade from this point, but the main trade was from the top of minor group 1 at 300 here, and to trade up here, get out, do all sorts of things and make mistakes in here, but lose less money than we trade in this trend over here. So this wave 2 to wave 3 here is what we traded, and it's this wave 2 to this wave 3 up here that we're going to trade as well. So we need to, there's a few possibilities that can unfold here, and perhaps I don't have a total grip on it, but let's just assume for a moment that we do get a bit of a rally and a drop here, and then we're down here. Well, then obviously at that point it's wave 2, isn't it? So in that case, we'll be looking for long trade setups over this side. Now we won't buy on the low, but we'll do a bit of fancy footwork in here and start to build in. But that's basically sort of where we are at the moment. This could come down a little bit further here. If I drop this from 20 down into 1 here to have a look at that move to the downside here, then it'll be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and third wave, fourth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here, a fourth wave over here, and then a fifth wave here for the A wave here. Not that that has to be that big here anyway. It can pull back up to the wave 4 of one lesser degree. It could pull back up to 38.2%. I'm not interested in any of this. Once we get to the B and the C down here, then we're interested in that move. So over to the Nasdaq here, we'll also be looking at looking for a low in here and then wave 4. Now this has been a weaker market, so the S&P that could rally a little bit higher in its B wave. So over here with the B wave here, this could rally a little bit higher based on because the banks took it back up to its old highs over here. So the S&P could rally a little bit higher than the Nasdaq, but some sort of complex correction here and then down again. And if we get that, well, then that's fantastic. Then we can look to build up from that point. So just coming into 20k into 1k here, and we'll pick that up here. I don't know if Marcy is going to get that. So wave 2 up here with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So in this case, it looks like we've got a little bit more play here, and this one and then this one, and then we've got some sort of wave 4 here, and then down for wave 5 here for this. So just remember that when this wave 4 is happening here, then this B wave over here will be happening. So we'll try to they'll pull in together in all of that. So I mean. So really, we don't, we can have a trading opportunity, not too far away, really. So that's kind of exciting. Okay, so over to the Russell, and I've got to bring the Russell into this count. Now, I did make an error here in that I had wave 4 sitting here. And I just ignored my own thing really, because I could count 5 waves down here. That was the weird thing, and I didn't pay attention to that. I think it threw me because I could count 5 waves up here, so I kind of blew that. But it was like sort of my intuition sort of knocking on my grey cells. But anyway, can't cry over spilt milk, and always best to move on, but acknowledge what's gone on. But the A, the B, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to finish this off. So very much like the Nasdaq here of finishing 4 and 5 down here for this. So yeah, I mean, this obviously moves a lot slower. So it moved pretty quick here, didn't it, in this third wave? But that's where that is. And then we come over to the DAX and the FTSE and the Australian market. So the DAX here, once again, it's interesting in a way because the DAX here has performed quite well and has taken out the top here. And it's given us 5 waves up here, right? The S&P hasn't, the Nasdaq has not, but we're looking for 5 waves here. So because the other side of the coin is, well, could we put wave 5 over here for this? That would be a logical step to do as well. But I don't think that's the case. And these other markets like the S&P that's had 5 waves up here as well, we've been counting as 5 waves, and now that the DAX has taken out the top over here, it really helps cement the case that we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Now, we don't know what the Feds are going to be doing with the interest rates, but that seems to be, what's going on in the bond market and so on at the moment. So, so we could also quite comfortably put a wave 4 in here and a wave 5 up here and do all this sort of thing. But like I said, at the tops of markets, things don't behave the way that they should. It's sort of 2 o'clock in the morning and you're at a party, so things don't always behave the way that you would like them to. So so we've got to finish this off in some way or another, and there's probably a couple of ways to do it. But in the main case here, we need to, look at this as an ABC pattern coming in, off the highs here. So basically, I just want to point out we've taken the top out here because we didn't really do that on the other markets. Okay, so cutting into the 1000 area here, and it's just so I just suppose we need to talk about this trade here for a moment, I guess. So these trades down here, we were taking profit on the way up, and you may have taken all of profit or part profit and all the rest of it and stuff. The idea was to get to the 19,000. We didn't get there. You may got stopped out here. You may have done all sorts of things, but that trade is over. So I'm going to just remove that. So basically, you can see here I put wave 3 here with an ABC for wave 4 here. And yes, I was looking for this to be wave 1, pulling back for wave 2 and going up into 3, 4, 5 because it was a little bit short. But like I said, markets don't always finish the way that you want them to, and that's that. But we had a good trade out of all of this, so we can't really complain. And now we're looking at this the same as the other markets. Now it's quite clear this is 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I could probably get that low in here, or it doesn't really give me 5 waves. There may or may not be a low in here, I don't know. But basically we're looking for this B wave. I'm not going to worry about it too much, and then we'll get the C wave here. What I would like, this is the speed of the A wave here from the top here to this here. This line kind of sums that up. It would be really nice on all of these markets if wave C is on a bit more of an angle, and that's the way that it doesn't always work like that, but the market tops here, wave A becomes quite fast, taking out stops and all sorts of things, and then wave B, and then wave C. We'd like to see wave C on an angle. It's very helpful and gives us a little bit more confidence that that we'll be moving up at this point. If we see this wave C here, sharp as wave A here, it still can be a wave C, but it sort of, red flags start to get waved at that point about what's going on. So we're just looking for the B wave, and like I said before, we're not interested in trading all of this because we don't want to lose money and we don't want to get stressed out. We want to have a strong mindset for working this low off here. So at the moment, you know how much capital you got. We know where the next trade is going to go. We need to talk about. We'll shoot the breeze about all of this as it unfolds, and we'll prepare for this next trade in here, and we'll talk about targets and all that very shortly, and how we can do it and what we can expect and so on and so on. But it can be very much like the previous trends down here as well. So if we just bring in this here, you can see how far 1s and 2s pull back here. So we kind of, in this case, we sort of bypassed, these sharp pullbacks and, started to build in here. So this is sort of what we did. So we'll probably do the same, but at the same time, for scalpers and day traders and people that want to get in early and all that, we still want this first impulse wave to the upside. This is our guiding, shining light that tells us that we're on the right track if we can see 5 waves up here and then, working it in over here. But you can see that the damage that could be caused by wave 2s, they're fast and they're sharp and all of those sort of things. So anyway, that's where we are. Let's just see how we go. Is it possible wave 4's over here? Yes, but as I mentioned with stock, it's probably this will be the bias at this stage. If this market just shoots up from here, well then we've got to say, well, Pete was wrong again, and we need to go back up here and wait for that again. So that's that's just the way it is. So we can take this over to the FTSE as well, just on the daily chart here. In this case, we didn't make a new high above the top here. So in this case, we're looking for 5 waves up here, a better 5 waves up here, I have to say. And we can look for our ABC coming back for wave 2. So now that I've shown that, we can go here. And in this case, we had wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was kind of happy to put wave 5 here, but I was thinking that some of those other markets needed to go higher, so I was thinking this can be 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5 coming up into this area here, but not the case. And now we've got a nice clean turn here. So counting down here, it looks like it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and the third wave, fourth and fifth here. So I haven't counted that last little wave there. Maybe there's another little low on that, but 4 and 5 in here to get wave A here, then B, and then C down here. B doesn't have to be that big, it could be quite, we'll see what the rest of the markets, how they perform and so on. And hopefully this wave C is on a bit more of an angle here as well, but we'll see how that goes. But that's where we need to be at that point. So, as a 5-wave move to the upside, this is looking quite good. So nothing to do today in all of these. And this is the Australian market here, so we need to do the same again. It's possible to put wave 4 over here, I get it, and we may need to go into that space, but otherwise we need to drag it in with the rest of the world and look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and 5 here, and look for an A and a B and a C wave here. Inside this wave structure here, let me just check on that. Yeah, look, there can be another low coming in here. We could look at this as 1 and 2 here, or, wave 1 and ABC for 2 here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that could be there actually. Yep, that could be already there. So I'm not interested in the B wave here. And once again, like I said, I could be wrong, and we could go all the way back up here, and that would just be a bit of a shame. But we'll see what it looks like. If it gets back on top of the level here on 8,000, the day traders, scalpers, and that can move in and go long for a little bit, but do it smaller position sizes. Otherwise, we're waiting for this wave 2 over here. Same with the rest of the markets. Okay, so that's it. I don't think I need to do any more. So it's really just a wait and see. And as I mentioned with stock as well, a lot of stock are going through the same process in their own way. This is Facebook here, Facebook Meta, whatever. It's been correcting for quite some time here as well, so it's quite deep already in its thing. I can count this in different ways here. It doesn't really matter. We still need to go up and we still need to go down, but we're quite close to the end of this one here as well. So, and Nvidia is much the same as well. So they're all slightly different, doing different things, but we need them to land, and then we need an impulse wave to the upside, and then we can start looking for trade setups. Alrighty, thanks for putting up with me. Cheers.